now that you mentioned that surprise witnesses are allowed, it was reported yesterday. So how do we make sure, or what safeguards exist to prevent abuse of surprise witnesses during the trial itself?
Well, wala din naman pong surprise as in on the day itself po isasalang yung
Yeah,
witness, no? So,
right.
kailangan pa rin pong meron pong pagbibigay ng impormasyon sa kabilang panig, whether prosecution or defense, kung magsasalang po na isang particular po na witness. Kailangan pa rin po ipakita yung pong dahilan bakit po siya isasalang sa witness stand. So, ibig sabihin, apprised fully yung po magkabilang panig kung sino man po yung yet to be disclosed witness na isasalang. And kung ito pong witness na ito, for example, ay hindi po nabanggit kahit kailan, and even yung pong offer sa kanya ay hindi po nabanggit during the pretrial proceedings, yung pong Senate Impeachment Court will have to approve ito po nga pagsasalang ng panibagong witness po na ito.
Okay, so right after the pretrial conference is the pretrial order. Am I correct, Congressman?
Tama po yun. Yung pong Senate Impeachment Court po yung maglalabas po ng order. Pag-usapan po dyan yung sequencing ng pong presentation of evidence. At syempre lahat po ng mga nailangkap dito po sa pretrial proceedings na ongoing po ngayon.
And this is parang actually the roadmap of what's going to transpire in the actual trial. But I was wondering what happens in between after the pretrial order until or up until the impeachment trial sa July 6. Is this going to be just a waiting game for both the panels or may mga dapat pang gawin?
Wala, yan na po yun. So after the pretrial order is issued, yung po July 6 na po yung pinakamahalagang petsa. Ano naman na ho I think we are less than 13 days to July 6. No? So hindi na rin naman po mahabang-mahaba yung pong pag-aantay dito po sa pagsasalang ng mga ebidensya.
Can you also share with us, Representative Ridon, yung nangyari nung first day of the pre-trial conference? Because there are a lot of reports and napabulaanan na rin naman po yan ni Representative Jervil Ruistro, yung nangyari daw doon nasagutan at may mga kinain, nilamon ng buhay dahil doon sa mga arguments, etc. In your perspective, what happened there?
Tama ko yung binabanggit ni Congresswoman Luistro, pero ang mas mahalaga po yung binanggit po ni Senate Secretary at Impeachment Court Clerk of Court Attorney Bantug, no? Ang sabi niya, wala talagang nangyaring kainan ng buhay, no? Ang meron sila po ay may hinain. So this is similar to what we had previously stated na wala pong nagkainan ng buhay, meron po kumain ng lumpia ng mga miyembro po ng panel, whether defense or prosecution.
Okay, so why do you think na may mga ganong klaseng reports na lumabas right after the pre-trial conference on the first day?
Well, alam po ninyo, syempre in as much as this is a legal fight, it is also a political and a propaganda fight, no? So, ibig sabihin, I don't want to impute naman po bad things on the news organization that reported it, but I think it needs to be clear that it was a single source reporting. Tapos anonymous pa. No? And it would basically get subject to scrutiny pagka halimbawa, people in that particular room, hindi naman ilang tao lang po yung mga tao ron. Kundi I think there were around 100 people there that would basically refute what had been stated in that report. But surprisingly, this was used by Duterte supporters, particularly their vloggers and the influencers, to really portray na talagang hindi daw handa ang prosecution panel. But I think that has already been resolved immediately and up until today na hindi po yung totoo.
But do you believe, having said that, do you believe that there is an ongoing mis- and disinformation campaign?
Meron talaga. No? So let us not kid ourselves that there is a propaganda war being launched as well. Kasama po dito sa impeachment proceedings po na ito. Which is why very important ho talaga na sumasabay yung pong prosecution panel doon sa paglilinaw, doon sa mga actual pong naging kaganapan sa lahat po ng aspeto ng proceedings po na ito. So from today up until the 6th of July, I think that is something that we will most definitely undertake.
Do you believe the agenda is for the prosecution panel to look weak in public?
Well, syempre they had sought to do it. This is not the first time that they had sought to do it. They had tried to undertake an attack on the Maleta issue against public prosecutors, which we had vigorously defended against as well. No, so this is the second level of attack, and we had defended ourselves vigorously as well. So there is no end in sight in the propaganda and disinformation war of the Duterte supporters, but we will fight them fire with fire and statute by statute. No, so tuloy lang po ito. There's no end to it, and we will continue on up until the 6th of July until the impeachment trial is over.
All right, let's go to the sequence of presentation of the articles of impeachment. Nakalagay po dun sa report, uunahin niyo po yung Article 4, which is the assassination threats. Article 1 next, misuse of confidential funds. Article 3, bribery and corruption. And last is the unexplained wealth, which is under Article 2. So could you tell us how did the prosecution decide on this kind of sequence? Why do you think or why do you believe this is the most effective way to present it?
Well, yung pinakamadali po nga pagpapaliwanag dito, syempre yung threats po, is something na napakadali pong unawain eh. Kasi the thing speaks for itself. No? So hindi ko kailangan natin ng expert testimony dyan, hindi natin kailangan ng mga eyewitness testimony po dyan. You just have to go back to the video. And I think it has been clear in the House proceedings as to what the video was, and it will be clear during the Senate proceedings as to what the video actually intended to do.
Okay, so the prosecution panel also, Congressman Ridon, has asked the impeachment court to compel the defense to identify, specify yung kanilang mga witnesses. Bakit po ba, in layman's term, para po mas maintindihan ng ating publiko, bakit po ba kinakailangan gawin yun ng defense? At bakit po kinakailangan kayo pa po ang magsabi nun at hindi po nila ginawa ng kusa?
Well, I think ito po yung pagko-convey ng aming observations doon po sa mga inilista ho nilang witnesses. Kasi I think it needs to be clear na yung pong witness list, napakarami ho namin common witnesses. I think at least 52 yung pong common witnesses. And ang sinasabi namin, it looks like parang ginamit lang din po nila yung pong document and witness list that had been that had resulted from the House proceedings sa Justice Committee, no? So nakakatawa 'yun kasi nga they're actually contesting the Justice Committee proceedings, hindi ba?
Right.
Tapos gagamitin po nila yung pong mga dokumento at ebidensya na iniluwal nito pong proceedings po na ito. I think
At
that point needed to be made lang po in that particular comment.
Right. And of course, we've also seen in the reports yung witnesses on the side of the defense na they're also saying na mirrored daw nung mga witnesses ng prosecution panel. Do you believe that is all, na kinopya lang ng defense yung inyong mga witnesses and evidence?
I think yung more accurate na salita ay ginamit yung parehong set of documents and
Right.
witnesses, no? Kasi ang paliwanag nila, paano daw kokopyahin kung sinapit ko at the same time yung pre-trial brief? Sure, why not? No? Pero again, isa lang naman ho yung paggagalingan po ng mga document at witness list po na yun. For the most part, ang paggagalingan po nun, yung pong submission ng original impeachment complaint, yung pong mga dokumento at ebidensya na inilawal ng pong House Justice Committee proceedings. Ito pong dalawang bagay na ito, yung pong challenge mismo, jurisdictionally and constitutionally, ng defense panel, no? So, katawa-tawa na yan po din yung panggagalingan ng aktual na listahan ng kanila pang mga dokumento at ebidensya.